Hey, it's Chris Gio from Merchant Method, and I want you to sell more, and I want you to do that by thinking like a writer, which is different than what I normally talk about. But here's why. In order for us to really clarify the customer that we're actually serving and differentiate that very loyal customer from an imposter, we need maybe a little bit of a different skill set, one that maybe merchants haven't been taught, that writers have up their sleeves all day and all night. So here are 4 benefits of thinking like a writer that are going to allow you to profitably differentiate the real customer from the imposter. Number 1, sometimes you just need a reason to act differently and do things differently. And thinking like a writer and developing that great narrative skill set, character development skill set, is going to allow you a little bit of extra time for the learning curve. Oftentimes, as brand owners, as people that know our industry really well or have been business owners, we don't often give ourselves the space and time, or we aren't often given the space or time to develop a new skill set and develop a new operational practice over a longer period of time. And thinking like a writer and adopting that mindset and adopting those skills will give you the freedom that you need so that you don't need to be fearful about doing it quickly or getting it wrong. The second reason I want you to think like a writer, and that I believe will lead to more sales, is that writers ask questions, a lot of questions. And the reason why they do it is not to be pestery, but because by asking the questions, we as merchants have to dive further and further and further into the real reason why anyone actually cares, specifically why your customer actually cares. And in this question asking phase, we become better able to articulate over time. Now, this isn't the type of process, the type of writing process where we do step 1, get that perfect, and then do step 2 and get that perfect, and then do step 3 and get this perfect. It's like writing drafts of a report. You're going from step 1 through 10. The first draft, writers know, is always going to be terrible. It just is the equivalent of the first pancake on the griddle. It's edible, but it's not the one that you actually want to give people. Then you ask a clarifying question, and then you go through step 1 through 10 again. Oh, but they're going to ask you another question because it just isn't juicy enough. Then you go through step 1 through 10 again. And the third reason why I want you to think like a writer is the value that comes out of asking so many questions. And it's that you gain clarity through this iterative process. Now, we know that loyal customers return multiple times and they continue to spend. You've just earned the right to offer them more things to buy from you, and they trust you. This clarity it does not happen right away. It takes time. So think about any of your loyal customers, true brand lovers and true fans. You nurtured it over time. There's something very special about that characteristic if you were to develop it into a character. This needs to be very clear and separate from the imposter. And asking these questions over and over gives you the clarity that you need. Not only a personal internal clarity, but the kind of clarity that you can write about, that you can speak about, and that you can communicate with the rest of your team. The fourth reason why I want you to think like a writer is you are developing guardrails. When writers develop characters, it is pretty full. It's a pretty full narrative. There's a story arc, and they can understand when the character is going, when the person is going out of character, or when the story is going away from the arc. And because there's these guardrails set, writers can course correct pretty quickly. And as merchants, we need to be able to course correct quickly if we start to march down a path away from our loyal customer to someone who is an imposter customer. And the reason why we need to understand those guardrails is Because if we don't, we will go back into our old habits of making compromises, of taking the discount, of making the exceptions above and beyond what we would normally make in our business, or normally make for our business. And it allows you to have an awareness of, okay, here is really the core of my brand narrative, the core character of my true loyal customer. If I decide to stray from this path, I'm doing it with purpose and with intention. So I hope that you feel like differentiating your loyal customer from your imposter customer is a skill set that you can develop. And then I hope that by saying yes to your real customer, you understand the value for you of saying no to the imposter. Because not only does it give you back your time, your money, your motivation, it takes away apathy, but it allows you to really focus in and have the quality of the conversation you've always been wanting to have, but you've had to tamp down because you've been speaking to too many types of people. So I'm super excited for you to be switching your mindset and thinking like a writer. And I'd love to know from you, what one writer tip will you employ so that you can start to sell more? What one writer tip you're employing so you can really hone in and better understand your true loyal customer. So feel free to share that with me in the comments. And I cannot wait to see you next week. And until then, tune in. Thanks. Bye.